there's, along those same lines, there's been concern that faculty not only involved in talent recruitment programs, but receiving money from various foreign sources are not disclosing that at the time they apply for grants. And this has been a big issue as it relates to the National Institutes of Health. There's also concern that they're not disclosing other affiliations, or in some instances that they may not even know of affiliations they have. One of the reports that came out last year was from Australia, this Picking Flowers, Making Honey report, which showed that many U.S. faculty were collaborating with scientists, Chinese scientists. When you dug into the information, they had strong ties to the People's Liberation Army, many of our faculty not even knowing those ties existed. So there's, on multiple fronts, there's concerns about faculty affiliations, both, and then their failure to disclose, and sometimes they don't even know that they're affiliated with individuals who have ties that may be adversarial to U.S. interest. There have been, NIH has expressed a lot of concern. They've actually had some instances where whole proposals in the review process have been downloaded and shipped to China before they were even reviewed. Not a whole lot of instances of that, but a few, and they've also found just more minor breaches where there have been faculty who have shared information about proposals that they ought not to be sharing, given it is a confidential process. There's concern about faculty who have open laboratories in China that are where they're doing very similar research to the research that is being funded by NIH here in the United States. And that is a concern that in essence, the work being done there funded by the Chinese government is really in some sense being subsidized or really piggybacking on research that is being funded by the NIH conducted both here and abroad, when that should not be the case. Then there's some other issues that have caught members of Congress' attention related to Confucius Institutes. These are language training programs that have been heavily supported by the Chinese government that exist on our campuses. Many campuses have been closing these centers down based upon concerns that have come from Congress. And the concern has been that, in fact, some of the individuals working in those institutes who come from China are actually limiting or presenting information in a way that is very pro-Chinese government, and anything that might be against the government, they are not talking about it or limit free speech. And then there's also even some concern about Chinese student groups that they are tasked with watching and reporting back on Chinese students who may be saying things, acting in a way that is not in accordance or is anti-Chinese government. There is a case at the University of Maryland that got a lot of attention about a young woman who made a graduation speech where she said some things that did not reflect well on the Chinese government, and she's basically been blacklisted from going back to China, and there's been a lot of issues relating to that have resulted.